Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to discuss about another very important topic for Angular, that is passing the data from parent component to child component in terms of number. If you remember, in our last session we discussed the same process, but that time we were passing the string from parent component to child component. But in this session, we are going to discuss about another process where we will talk about the number data type. Okay, so yes, there might be some requirement in your project where you are supposed to send the numeric or number data from parent to child component. So in that case, what all steps you are supposed to follow, that we will be discussing in this particular session. But before we proceed further, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being we are just mainly focusing on how to send data as a number. Okay, so just to explain everything in a simpler way, we will do everything from scratch. Okay, so firstly what we will do, we will create one component. Then in that component we will print some data. That data we will receive as a number input from parent component. Clear? So let's proceed further. Here what we will do, firstly I'll open this terminal, and on this terminal we will set our location. Always make sure that your location is this, where your project resides. So I just need to write here cd double quotes and double quotes cd. Perfect. So here you can see the command is executed successfully, and now my present working directory is Angular course source code, my first project. Okay, let me clear this thing just to clean up the thing. So I just noted CLS. Now here we will create one component. So to create the component, we will use the command ng gc and login. So what it means, ng means Angular, g means generate, c means component, and login means name of the component. So once we hit the enter here, it will create a component with login name, and this folder will contain all 4 required files. So let me show you. I just pressed enter, and now you can see it created 4 files: login.component.html, login.component.spects, and login.component.ts, along with login.component.css. So this is what we were looking for. Now what we will do, next thing, we will connect this login component with our parent component. So if you look at this HTML part, you will see that here only one thing is noted down, which is login works. Now what we will do, we will connect this. So to connect this thing, you need to go to this login.component.ts. From here we will pick this name, which is app login. This is the selector value. So whenever you want to use this component, you will use this name. Okay, and here we have this name, login component. So remember this name, because this name we should be it should be registered in the app.component.ts file, otherwise it won't work. Okay, so we just copied this thing and remembered this thing. Now simply go to app.component.html, which is parent component. Here we will simply pass the value. So let me write it as a tag. Okay, so from here we want to send the value, but before sending the value, let me register it in the component.ts file, app.component.ts. Here we will register it. So to register, you just need to write here login component. Perfect. So once you note it here, it will also add this thing into line number 2 for importing the login component. Now you can save it. Perfect. So we have ready this thing. Now next thing is what we are supposed to do. From here we will send the data as a number. So let me send the number. You need to write it in a square bracket, and here let's say I want to pass ID. Okay, so I just mention it as ID equal, and ID I'm passing as for example 20. Okay, so this is the thing that I want to pass here. And remember one thing, it should be inside this double quote. Okay, in case of string, what we prefer, like we go with this syntax, okay, single quote inside a double quote. But in case of numeric value, we will directly pass it, so don't get confused here, okay. But these are the things that you will learn by the time when you start doing practice. You will find you will get some errors, and on the basis of those errors you will learn the things. So don't mug up anything, just try to explore your own, okay. Fine, so we have added this thing id. So is it done? Not yet, because after adding this thing, it's the time to receive this value. So for receiving this value, what we will do, we will go to this login.component.ts file. Here we will accept the value. How? So to accept the value, you just need to write here input, okay, input, and not like this, it should be something like this, because this is case sensitive, okay. So just write input, then opening closing parenthesis. After that we will mention the name of variable which we are going to receive. So it's always better to use the same name. So here I'm using id, then colon, and then name of data type. So in my case I want to accept the number data type, so you just need to write here number. Then we have to put equal for setting the default value. So let's say if no one is sending value as a parameter, so we will set it as 100. What it means, so if there is value received by like if app component is sending any value, it will simply use that value. But if there is no value sent by the app component and it is expecting input, so in that case it will pick this default value. Clear? Now save this. After a save, it's time to use this thing. So to use it inside a HTML file, component login.component.html file. So here what I will do, I will write some paragraph kind of thing, okay, and here we will write this is the value received from parent component, then colon, and now to receive that value you can use this double curly braces, okay, and inside this we will write id. Perfect. Now you can save this, and it's time to check whether it is working perfectly or do we need to change anything to fix the error. Let me save all the files first, and after this we will run the application. So to run the application as per our expectation, what should be the output? Output should be firstly like it will go, because app.component.html is the main file, right? So firstly it will print this thing, Angular by Sharmit. Then it will we are sending and attaching the login component here, so it should go to this and it should print this thing, login works, and then this value should be printed. This value is received from the parent component, and here in place of id it should receive 20, because this is the value that we are sending from here, okay. So let's verify this. So to verify this, let's generate run the application. So I will write ng serve, enter. After enter, it will take few seconds, and you can see it is generated successfully without any kind of error. So I will directly follow this link from here, and it will open a browser for me, default browser. On this browser you can easily see that we have received the actual data that we were expecting. Angular by Sharmit is coming from app.component.html file. Then in the same file we were using the selector app login, that's why it is referring the app login.component.html file. From there it prints login works, and this is the value received from parent component. Clear? So this is the entire process for receiving the value as a number. Now let me show you the difference between both, because in last session we discussed about the string, and right now we are talking about the numbers. So the only difference between number and string is that you have to put this data type as number whenever you are receiving the value. So with input decorator, this is the decorator, okay, you know about decorator, right? Here also we use the decorator component. Similarly we have another decorator, that is input, okay. Fine. Now you can see we are specifying the data type as number. So once you specified it, then in that case it will expect a value coming as a input. And also remember one thing, that in case of app.component.html, use this bracket, otherwise it will give you error, okay. So always bound like this and provide the value. Okay, one more thing I want to show you, default value concept. So let's say if we forgot to add this thing, okay, we are just calling it. So what it will do, just save it, refresh the browser, you can see the value is coming as 100, but we are not sending any value from this. Then why it is considering 100? Because we have set the default value as 100 here. Okay, if you change this value, accordingly it will change the output. Currently it is showing 500. So this is the advantage of using default value. So always make sure that whenever you are whenever you are accepting any value, make it sure that you also define the default value. So in case of any error, it will at least show you the error code, or let's say 0. If you want to set it as 0, that is also fine, because if no one is sending the data, it should be 0. Okay, so yeah, that's all for this session, and here we will just discuss how to receive the number as an input parameter. I hope this session is clear to all of you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.